Okay, question number 8, page 93. Says 618 kilometers going north, 58 degrees west at first. It's an airplane going from Sydney to Newcastle. And then from Newcastle, it ends up going to New Glasgow, 361 kilometers east, 35 degrees south. So first step is to figure out your scale. I think if you picked 1 centimeter equals 100 kilometers, it's going to be too tiny. Maybe go with 1 centimeter equals 60 kilometers. If you do that, then this is 10.3 centimeters, and this one is 6.02 centimeters. So that's not too bad. Not too big, not too small. I know I'm using pen and I know I'm using paper. I just needed to make sure you could see it, and I was worried if I did graph paper and pencil, it was going to be too light. You're going north and then west, so I'd start fairly far down here and off to a bit off to the middle. You're measuring from the north, so you hold your protractor this way. You line it up down here. You measure 58 degrees right there. And then I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to hold the iPad, hold the ruler, and draw the line. But the line's going to be right here. I think I need an extra hand. Just a sec. Maybe if I could balance that. It's kind of on the screen. I'll move it back in a second, I promise. So there's my line. I label it. It's 618 kilometers, and this angle is 58 degrees. Now my next one is east 35 degrees south, so right where I have the head of the other, I line it up, I put a little dot. It's 35 degrees south right there. Again, I need to switch this. And this one is going to be 6.02. It's going to come down here and just be an itsy bitsy bit bigger than 6. Okay? So look how tiny mine is even when I did 60. So if you did 100, it was going to be even more minuscule. So now you draw in your resultant, which is going to be from where you start it to where you end it, right here. Measure its length. Mine is just about 4 centimeters. And so 4 times 60, it's going to be awfully close to 240 kilometers. Measure my angle. And it's just slightly over 20. It's about 22 maybe. So it'll be west, 22 degrees north. So for part 1, determine the airplane's displacement. That's what it is. It's about 240 kilometers west, 22 degrees north. The larger you made your scale, like if you did 100 kilometers instead of 60, probably the further away from this value you are, just because every millimeter then takes on more significance. Part B says, in what direction will the plane have to fly to return home? So if you want to turn around and go back, then remember we said yesterday, west becomes east, the angle stays the same, and north becomes south. So this is for part B. Okay, so that's number 8. The good news, number 9 is actually easier. For number 9, it says a canoeist starts from her campsite, paddles north 3 kilometers, and then west 4 kilometers. So maybe do a scale 1 kilometer equals 2 centimeters or 3 centimeters because you have plenty of space. And the great thing is it's north and west, so really if you use your graph paper, you don't even need to worry about protractor maybe because it's north and west. The angles are 90 degrees. So if I go 3 north, so it would be like this. 3 kilometers north, and then 4 kilometers west would be this way. 8 kilometers west. The resultant will be right in here. Start where the first one starts, ends where the last one ended. Measure the length. You should get 10 because this is a I wrote 8 and it's really 4. Sorry about that. You're not here to correct me. 6 to 2 and 8 to 0. Wait, that's what's wrong. This should be 6. Sorry about that. This is why you don't do it in pen. It's also why mine didn't work out to be the right length. I doubled it, but I didn't double 3 very well. I got 4. There we go. Now it's 6. And now my resultant should be here, and it should be 10. Oh, look at that. It is, because it wasn't when I did it the first time. Please ignore that first line. Okay, so here's my resultant. Measure it, and it should be 10, because it's a 3, 4, 5 triangle, right? And so if it's 4 and 8, 3, then the other one. So 10 means 5. When you look after your scale, there you go, we're just getting rid of that so it doesn't bother me too much. So this is 5 kilometers, and now I measure my angle. And you always measure your angle at the origin. I might measure mine from the north since it's inside the triangle. And if I do that, I get 53 degrees. So it would be, so this is 53 in here. So it would be north, 53 degrees west. Okay? Yes, you could have done that using Pythagorean theorem and sine or cosine or tangent, but the question wanted you to do it drawing to scale. So there it is, drawing to scale. Determine her displacement. This is the answer to A. In what direction would she have to head to go home? So the answer for B, just turn around the north, make it south, 53 degrees, turn around the west, make it east. So whenever you want to go home, keep the angle and just flip the 2 directions. So that's number 9. Number 10 says, from a lookout point, a hiker sees a small lake ahead of her. In order to get around it, she walks 4.5 kilometers in a straight line towards the end of the lake. She turns and makes a 60-degree angle with her original path and walks to the campsite 6.4 kilometers in the new direction. Now, the diagram there, it's not to scale, okay? So don't just measure off the diagram. You actually have to do it to scale. It doesn't say what direction. It just says she walks in a straight line. So if I were you, for number 10, I would make my first line straight up. And you could use 1 to 1 if you want. So 1 centimeter equals 1 centimeter equals 1 kilometer. And that means then that your first one is going to be 4.5 kilometers long and your second one is 6.4. Okay, so if she goes straight up and it's 4.5 kilometers, so 4.5 kilometers. And then it says she goes off at an angle of 60 degrees from this. So if you look at the picture, measure off that tip, 60 degrees. Put a little line there. Whoops, wouldn't it be good if you could see what I was doing? Sorry about that. So, sorry, I lined it up this way. 60 degrees. I still can't see. Put my little line in. And now I'm going to draw my 6.4. Sorry, you're going to have to wait for a second while I do my 6.4 because I can't hold it.